Now we have two Fox NBA analysts, Rick Bucher and Jim Jackson. Let's head to Orlando. Let's get in this bubble, y'all, which is what the NBA is about to do. Approving a plan yesterday to relaunch the season from the Disney complex in Florida, starting at the end of July. The plan's pretty interesting, with 22 teams scheduled to play 88 games over 16 days to finish the regular season. There will be 3 courts in use with 4 hours between games. Once the playoffs start, there will be no delay between series, and the finals is expected to have a game every other day. So, Jim, gonna start with you. What you think? What will be the biggest issue with this plan?
Marcellus, first of all, I'm happy that the NBA is back. And everybody has to understand the difficulty of trying to navigate through all the scenarios in order to bring the game that we love back. The health issues, the logistics part of it, not only with the players, but also with the individuals of the NBA, individual teams, and people also, the men and women who will be working at the venue. But to me, because it's going to be unconventional this year in regards to what we see, in a complex, guys are staying in a hotel for a few months. The families are not there early on with the launch of the NBA, relaunch of the NBA season. To me, the biggest challenge is going to be the mental part, because it's not something that these guys are used to or accustomed the environment to playing in. It's almost like an AAU circuit, getting back to the old days where these guys are not old. I'm old. They're not old, but playing AAU basketball where you were in a venue, every team was there, multiple courts, multiple games going on. And the physical part, I think guys will be ready to play. You have, the 8 games before the actual playoffs start. You have a training camp. You get a chance to get your body back. But it's the mental approach that I think, to me, is going to be the biggest challenge, because they're not accustomed. This is something out of the ordinary. This is something totally different. And the teams and the players that can get their minds wrapped around what they're about to go through, to me, are the ones that will have the advantage once the actual play starts.
The biggest issue the entire league faces is that they don't know what the biggest issue is going to be that they're going to have to face.
Right. Yeah.
This is all uncertain. To your point, Jim, these guys are now having to play. The players are having to play under circumstances that they haven't played in since AAU. And considering this is now the NBA, I don't even know that it equates to that. The league has to put all this protocol in place, the rules and the regulations. They're making it up on the fly. The NBA, I believe, employs about 800 lawyers, and they do that, and they have done that over the years in order to construct a vehicle and protocol and rules and regulations that everybody follows, and you know what those are. They're having to make it up. What happens if, say, LeBron's wife breaks the protocol for the sheltering in place or the bubble, right, or Chris Paul's son does it, or an assistant coach does it, or let's say there's a delay in the games because there's a rainstorm and now the schedule is thrown off. Like, there are so many things that they don't have answers to, that they're going in and flying blind, that ultimately is going to be the issue. Because let's face it, we're all saying, hey, NBA's back. We're getting games. This is playoff basketball. It's like, we expect things to be the same, and there is no way that they are going to be the same. But the media, the fans, everybody from the outside, I guarantee you something's going to go sideways. They're going to have to deal with it on the fly, and not everybody's going to be happy with the way that they deal with it. And as a result, we're going to look at it, and we're going to look at it some kind of a way, because it's not what we're used to when we see NBA playoff basketball.
Say it. My biggest issue is the bubble, and when the bubble pops. Not if, when the bubble pops, because it's going to pop. I use my life as an example. My wife is an anesthesiologist, and she also has OCD. So she is quarantining this family. I mean, you can't even touch the front doorknob without Clorox hitting you in the back of the head, because that's how the game goes in the Wiley household. However, my goal every day is to poke holes in her bubble and make her realize nothing's perfect. Why is the nanny still coming, baby? But we're quarantining. She doesn't live here. She goes home and comes back. We're not testing her every day. At least the NBA is saying on record they're going to test every day. But 70% of the people that's going to be in this bubble going to have the opportunity to leave, to go home, because there's the essential workers. And then let's talk about the NBA players who are going to be allowed to go to restaurants, allowed to golf, allowed to have their families there. So as I'm sitting here right now in my pool house, there's a producer, John Heller, right there, breaking the quarantine every day, popping my bubble every day, and putting me at risk. And that's just two of us. You multiply that to the NBA numbers, Jimmy, sounds like a problem, right?
Well, first of all, I want to applaud you for letting everybody know who runs the household, who wears the pants in the house. It's your wife, it's not you. Okay. First of all, I'm gonna give you that. Okay, but second of all, it's tough to try to prepare for everything because it's unknown. The only thing you can kind of do is put protocols in place that if events take place that you can react to it, because we don't know what's going to happen. We do know that you want to take every precaution necessary to ensure the health and well-being of not only NBA players, officials from the NBA, the people, men and women who are working, and when the families eventually come. But keep in mind, you got players now who are accustomed to traveling, staying in great hotels and, in and out. Now you're going to be stuck, not only at home that you've been stuck, now you're going to a place that's unfamiliar to you and you're stuck. Is it the end of the world? No. It's still a game at the end of the day. And that's what they're going to have to do. It's not going to be perfect. We all know that. There are going to be circumstances, events that pop off that are not in their control. The only thing from a player's perspective that they can control is keeping themselves safe, keeping themselves mentally focused in order to go out and play and give the best product and give their teams a chance to win. Other than that, they're going to have to rely on the NBPA and also the NBA to put in rules, to institute protocols to ensure the safety, but also ensure the integrity of the NBA, that the product that they put on the floor is something that we can all be proud of and something that we can all enjoy. Again, unconventional, but you know what? 2020, my friend, has been unconventional, and we've all had to figure out ways to weave our way through and make things work, and that's what the NBA has to do.
Yeah, I just did the COVID-19 drive-through test, so there's a part of me that feels less worried about the health issue or the ability to keep their arms around that. Certainly something's going to happen and they're going to have to react to it. But the other part is, this is just going to be weird, man. I mean, no fans in the stands, the courts, and multiple games going on at the same time. How's the production from a TV standpoint? I've watched some of the Bundesliga games, and I've watched because I love soccer and I'm interested in the game. But the atmosphere is completely different. And then when you don't have the crowd there, you hear a lot of stuff. And that's another element that the league is going to have to deal with. We're going to hear conversations, or at least I hope we will, that you previously weren't prior, you weren't privy to. And so how are they going to deal with some things that may be said that weren't meant for public consumption? I mean, again, we're coming from, everybody expects it like we're back, we're going to be the same. One thing I assure you, it's not, be prepared. Come into it thinking we have it back, but this is going to be a different animal in a lot of ways, and we don't even know what kind of animal it's going to be.
Yeah, we're going to be prepared, but what is that distance between perfect and a pandemic problem that is now going to be inside that bubble in terms of all the compromising situations these players are going to be put in? All I want to say is I moved in terms of watching where the NBA was, because when it shut down, I was sitting there like, whoa. And now I'm so excited for it, but I can't forget just a couple months ago, they shut the entire league down because of one positive test. Now, the mindset going forward is we're preparing for a positive test, but still going to play. How will you control the elements, the environment, when that inevitable positive test occurs?